Okay, welcome everyone to Exceptional Circumstances for Exceptional Learners. My name is Rebecca Muller, and I'm so excited to be here tonight to introduce to you the creator of SPED Goals app. He is a gentleman from Florida who I was able to come across through one of the many Facebook groups that have helped me get through teaching in the pandemic. So I was excited when I said, hey, I see you have this app. Can you tell me more? And I'm excited to share what he has in store for us, especially as IEP season is among us. But just a quick little announcement here. I do want to point out some of the events that we have coming up. We are currently booking straight through, I'm into April right now. And we're preparing to perhaps have a summit in May. So I encourage you to continue to stay in touch. Next week, we will be with Emily Katz Williamson on the magic of co-teaching. Several of the people on this list are authors and are doing just amazing work out there in the field. So all of these are going to be, you can register through Eventbrite. As we learned, I'm looking to find the best way to share the Zoom link with you. Right now it's in the email, but I am realizing that I may have to come up with a better solution. And that's what we're all about, right? Flexibility, solutions, finding a way to make this all work a little bit better. You know, when in doubt, please feel free to get in touch with me and we will find a way. So without any further ado, I am going to let the floor over to Gustavo. And he will tell you a little bit more about his background and why we are all joined here tonight.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Gustavo Ortega, and I've been a special ed teacher since 2007. I love teaching special education children. I've taught gen ed, and I've realized when I went into gen ed, that's not something I wanted to do at all. And I want to continue teaching special needs children. I think they are by far the best students. They always give it their best. And that's something that I love about them. And the reason why I came up with this special education app is because I remember the first year that I was teaching and I had to create goals. And, you know, obviously you go through school, you go through education, but once you start going into the field, it becomes a whole different ballgame. And part of the reason, you know, main reason is to help us, all special education teachers, just a little bit. Obviously, we do have to modify the goal to meet that specific student that you have out there. But I figured this would be a solid foundation for us to begin an IEP goal. So that's why I created the SPED Goals app, and also to help us out a little bit. You know, we have enough paperwork to do. It's amazing. It's just like every day we get more stuff to do, more paperwork to do. And I was hoping that this app can alleviate just a little bit stress from all that. So that's the main reason why I created SPED Goals. And obviously it is an evolving app. It's not set in stone. Obviously, I need to add more grades to it, and there's other things that need to be corrected within the app due to there's some programming and there's some other things that need to be straightened out. But I see this is a good, solid foundation, a good start to it. And as we move forward, I hope that everyone contributes to it, because I think in the end, it's going to be a great app if everyone contributes. Just, you know, a goal or two here, that'll make it an excellent app. I mean, it's a good app, I believe, right now, but with the contribution from all of us, you know, that'll make it excellent. So
can you tell me a little bit more? I know I would love for them to know, what is the process to make an app? Like, I feel like I've had ideas like, ooh, that'd be a great app. What does that look like? Like, you have this idea. I think it's a great idea for that collaboration. We should all lean on one another. But then how does that idea become an actual application?
It was very interesting. First, I obviously went to Google to see how much it would cost to create an app. Here in the States, minimum $10,000. Like that's like really the bottom, and I don't even think you can create an app like the one that we have right now. So I started looking at other countries, and long story short, I was able to find an individual, Christopher Christie, uh, from Canada. He runs a programming company. However, I believe he outsources to other individuals throughout the world. I know the guy that's creating and helping me update my app and so forth is from Czechoslovakia. So it's been quite a whirlwind on how to go about creating an app that is, reasonably priced, but also at the same time delivering good quality content. Because, like I said, obviously, in us teachers, we make $1 million. So, uh, and
Roughly.
especially depending on which state you're teaching in, it could really vary as far as salary wise. So, I was trying to create something that is, pleasurable to the eye, but also within the budget. And so I was able to do that through, it's a worldly app because the individual that's creating the programming is in Czechoslovakia. And that was for the iOS Apple, for the Apple store. And now for the Google store, there's somebody else from another country that's creating the app for the Google Android version of it. So it's been it's been a whirlwind. But the head guy that's coordinating everything, he's been excellent. I would highly recommend, if anybody wanted to get in touch with that individual, I would be more than happy to, give you all his information, because he is also in education and he loves education, and that's one of the biggest reasons why he took on my app. He kind of knew that I wasn't gonna be paying thousands upon thousands of dollars to create an app, because it's challenging as a teacher to as far as the salary and so forth. So that's how it came about. I really was Google searching. I found someone, and he was able to outsource the programming and so forth.
And what was the turnaround from idea to actually the implementation of the creation of the app?
It was about a year or so, because there was a lot of stuff that I had to put input, like all this things that you see, the little dice there, that was created by me. All the colors, pictures, and everything, pretty much everything was created by me. The only true thing that they did was the programming aspect of it. So that's where, when I put 4, 5, 6 goals, I sent it to them, and they were able to go from there. So everything else I created.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So let's actually look at some of the features in the app. I have your slides up here. It is an app to help you write your IEP goals. And I love the image of just togetherness. And you truly have shown that it takes a village, right? So please, more.
Okay, and this is one of the things that I wanted to go over, because I've been noticing that a lot of people from other countries are asking me, how do I get this? How do I get, they don't even know that it's an app. So I wanted to go over really quickly on, how to go about downloading. I know us in the States, when someone says an app, we understand what that is. However, seems to be a lot of people out there that don't know what to do, don't know how to get it. So I wanted to go over really quick as far as how we can do this. So as far as, going, if you're an Apple product, please go to the Apple Store and search for SPED Goals. Or if you have an Android, go to the Google Play and search for SPED Goals. And from there, you download it. These are the little, to the left of us is the Apple product, as you see when you search it. And to the right of us will be the Google Play Store. That's where that you'll get. But that's, I know a lot of people from India actually have been downloading my app. Not sure why, but they seem to like it over there. So, and a lot of times they're asking me, they believe that it's maybe a PowerPoint program or a doc program or something like that. But I have to explain to them, no, it's an application. Please go to, either the Android or the iOS Apple Store.
So I did just drop the for the Apple Store. So if you are on your phone, feel free to click on that, just so that you can see it. Right now, it's very simplistic. But I think that the value of what's actually inside of it, that's really what matters.
And I am trying to get the programmer to change as far as the view when you first search it there. We've been trying to upgrade that aspect as well, because I know it's only one slide and there's needs to be more information as far as that. So
it really makes you think about how we take for granted that we're like, oh, I want this app, click, and they're like, I'm going to delete that. How much time and preparation and dedication and financial burden, it takes to create and something like that. Now, is there a cost right now for the app?
No, I want to keep it free. That's one of the main things, that this is an educational tool. And therefore, I believe it should be free. I mean, it is to help us teachers. And like I said, I know how much we make. And it's frustrating to me a lot of times when, education is literally the most important thing any of us could ever get. And to sometimes give the teacher's salary such low, it drives me crazy. That's one of the things that really upsets me, and that's why I want to keep it free. I think eventually I might add ads to it, because it does. I am paying fees and so forth to keep the app going, and so that might be down the road. But right now, we're going to keep it free, and that's what I plan on. And also, other people are contributing to IEP goals. And I think it would be very unfair for me to start charging people when other members, within our community, special education community, are contributing to this. That's not fair, I believe. So yeah. It's going to be free.
And so first of all, this is why I know that you are in the right place, because it's about that collaboration, and you're the real deal, because any true educator knows that they're going to do it because they know that it's the right thing to do, right? There's so many different platforms out there right now who are just looking to get the district money to pull it on, and some are good and some are not, and some, the goals that are there are clearly not written by somebody in education, and it floors me. So if you haven't had
go ahead.
If you haven't had a chance yet to introduce yourself and what your role is, we are also writing down what type of application we currently use to do our IEPs, because long has been the way, or where we actually had to do the carbon copies, right? That is now done. And while they try to have the technology help us, I feel like in certain cases it hinders us. So please feel free to share that in the chat.
Well, that's one of the things too. Apple, I had a hard time having my app be accepted by Apple because it was too simple. They wanted it with all the bells and whistles. They wanted so many things. And I've looked in the Apple store and searched IEP goals and so forth. And I wrote them a good lengthy letter just stating that, listen, you want me to turn my app into something that's already out there. And I've seen some of the other apps, they have horrible reviews, and you got to pay $5.99 for them to get them. And I'm like, that's not what I want. This is nice and simple and not complex. And this is what we teachers want. Not, you're asking me to create something that's already been created. So I actually had for about 2 months, we're going back and forth between Apple to accept my app. Luckily, in the end, once I wrote the letter, they accepted it right away.
That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, and it's about the advocacy, right? We know what we need. We know what the kids need. Sometimes we get so caught up in doing the program the right way online that we forget that the program is what we actually do in class every day. So I really appreciate it that you've kind of seen through the bells and the whistles and recognize that sometimes it's okay to be a little bit more simple, right? Work, sometimes it's too much. You need to bring it down and bring it down to the basics. So I do want to share a little bit more about what you can find when you sign on.
And this is like another simple aspect of it. I wanted to, just a couple of clicks and you have, for example, here, select your grade. I mean, it's not complicated. It's pre-K, kinder, first grade. I got it all the way to 6th grade. I'm working on 7th and 8th grade goals, and eventually we'll get to high school. I also added SLP goals here. And, there's that little add new goal button. Please, if any of you guys out there would like to add a goal, please do so. That only improves the app, that as I see it, and I believe everybody else would see that as well, because like in the end, it is this, I want this app to be for us, to help us to make our life a little bit easier.
All right, absolutely. So if I wanted to contribute to this, what would I, as an individual, what would I have to do to contribute? Because like right now I have taught 4th grade, 7th grade. I'm currently at the high school. How can I help you in this endeavor?
Some of the things that you can help me is obviously the goals aspect, adding a goal. Click on that and send me a goal. And then in the next update, I'll usually add the goal. Secondly, if you see something that's incorrectly written or cut off, sometimes I've noticed that some people have emailed me saying this goal was cut off. So that way I can tell my programmer, say, hey, on the 4th grade, on ELA, goal number 3 has been cut off, and then he can go back up there and look at it and see what was going on. Did they miss something in the program and so forth? So those little things would be very, very beneficial to me, so that way I can make the corrections and we can move forward with a better IEP goals.
So when you click a subject, you get, or when you click the grade, you get a list of the subjects. And then once you're in there, these are all things that people have sent to you?
These are goals that either I've created, people have sent to me. I've been teaching for so long now, and I've been teaching from pre-K all the way to children as high as freshman high school. So I've had goals for a very, very long time. And, most of them are mine. There's people that have contributed as well, and I've added those goals. Also, some of my other coworkers have, informed me of goals, and I just edited them a little bit here and there to, sometimes they forget to add a benchmark or set a goal to, for example, 80% accuracy and 4 or 5 trials. So sometimes they forget to add those things, and I like to add those little things. But overall, they're mostly my goals that I've created throughout the year. Not all of them, obviously, because there's a lot of goals on the IEP SPED goals right now.
So one of the things that I've seen a lot on IEP Direct and Easy IEP and Genesis and all these different things is that they have a specific formula as to how they want you to write the goal, right? And there's a lot of drop down boxes and fancy things, and they want it to be based on the standards, but also for the individual kid. And it's very, that's what I find so confusing, is that I want to write a goal for a kid in front of me who could be in 7th grade, but is working on 5th grade skills. So are you giving anybody a formula before they send you a goal? Because everybody, no, okay.
That I'm not. In the end, when I get an email, I'll ask them if they don't specify what grade level. That's about the only time that that I will ask for a little feedback, a little extra feedback. But also, you spoke about standards. There's every state, every district, every school, sometimes they have different ways of writing IEP goals. So therefore, my IEP goals, I just see them as a foundation. In the end, the educator has to individualize that IEP goal for that student. And, and that's very, very critical, that I want everyone at least to take away from, from this nice little get together here. You have to edit the goal. You have to, conform it to your child, because like I said, every state, every district, and every school, and I know this because I've taught in New York City. I've also taught in Phoenix, Arizona, and now I'm down here in Miami-Dade School District. And I'll tell you, they write IEPs differently. I kind of try to stay within the zone that I know. And if the districts are happy with that, and my principal's happy with that, I'll stick with it. But at times I do have to conform to their need and so forth. So like, so many districts and states and so forth, they have different standards.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I like the idea that it's a collective, that it's not, these are my goals and you have to do it this way. And
No.
I feel like so much of our education, like our profession, sometimes we're dictated what it's supposed to look like. So I like the idea that it's a collaborative effort. So yeah, I think I would love to see if anybody has specific questions for Gustavo. I think that we all are kind of coming here with some different backgrounds and different ideas of what we would like from an app. And I hope that you recognize that this is more of a let's do this together type thing than, one person leading the show. So
that and, I make plenty of mistakes. I look at that screen and it is, and like I said, this is just all me as of right now. I haven't had any help from other than the people sending in the IEP goals. But I look at the screen sometimes and I'm just like, what am I even writing? I don't even, we all get to that point. So help from you guys would be greatly appreciated.
I can definitely say, as I'm switching hats seriously within milliseconds of one another, from mom to teacher to facilitator of this group, it is very, I've been much more lenient on my grammar policing. And when I see someone else make a mistake, I just kind of think, we're all going through a lot. So, I hope that people recognize that too, and have gained a little bit of empathy through this crazy time. I do have a question for you though. Was this idea pre or post COVID?
Pandemic. Oh,
Yeah,
pre.
pandemic.
I've had it for a long time, but the stumbling block was always, how do you create an app? Like you said, you always have these great ideas, but how do you go about actually creating? Because I've even looked online, and there's some for like a couple of $100 you can create very, very simple, copy and paste over. But that's not what I wanted. So it was before that. It's been brewing for probably a couple of years now, and I finally got the nerve to, all right, let's do this.
Yeah, sometimes all it takes is one little thing to have you develop something that, somebody else might have thought of, or you might have thought, I'm not going to develop that because that's somebody else, like somebody else will do it eventually. And sometimes you just have to jump in and say, no, you know what? It's going to be me. I'm going to be the person that puts in the time and the effort and to try to bring the folks together, because at the end of the day, like, we all have a limited amount of capacity. And so when we can rely on one another, it's also, from some of the things that you've mentioned to me, just empowering to hear from people from around the world who are clicking on this app and want to know more. And then you have these conversations. So I'm commending you is what I'm doing. I'm saying that this is a wonderful thing. Tell us a little bit more about you. So you're a teacher, a full-time teacher, right? And you're a dad too, right?
Yes, yes. I have two beautiful, rambunctious little ones. One of them's almost 14 months, and the other one's 4 years old. And of course, I have a beautiful wife. So she's been awesome. But they are off. They keep me busy. Let's just say that.
But sometimes having these little projects make you appreciate the time a little bit more too.
Yes,
So
yes. I mean, this was my little pet project, so it was like my little thing. I used to play baseball, and that used to be my favorite thing to do. But now I don't play much baseball, so this was my little thing.
I think that's great. We all need a little thing, right? All right. So, yeah, is there anybody who have specific questions or things that they are wondering? Megan?
Hi, Gustavo. Your app looks great. I just downloaded it.
Oh, excellent.
So as a self-contained special ed teacher, I know a lot of the times the more troubling piece is to find those benchmarks rather than the overarching goal. So a lot of the times you have that goal in mind, you know what you want the overall ending goal to be, but it's the benchmarks. Is your app going to have the ability to have like kind of a drop down from those goals to show those like baby steps to get there? Is that something that you're working for, or that we can, if we submit goals, can we submit those kind of benchmarks as part of that goal? Or
That's something that I believe will come along.
okay.
As far as the time frame, I'm not sure when, but I do plan on, first I wanted to my own little personal IEP goal is complete pre-K to
Absolutely.
12th grade
Yeah,
of the
absolutely.
goals, and then from that point on, I can see like putting in short-term goals and so forth. So that would be, on
Okay, so
something else.
if we submit goals now, do you want me to just kind of leave that out for now, or do you want me to still submit it so it's in the pocket back folder, or?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay,
Submit it right now. That way, and I will, obviously I save everything. So it's
sure.
not, it'll
Just
be
because I
there.
know for me, sorry, crazy dog, pandemic dog. So she's a little
Yes.
crazy whenever she hears people. Yeah, because I know for me, that's definitely, one of the things that I struggle more with, where even if I have that goal in mind, it's kind of what should those benchmarks be? How, especially when you're individualizing, obviously it's going to be different for every kid, but just really finding out like kind of having like if they're doing a picture schedule, okay, now you're going to do only 2 picture schedules, then you're going to
Yes.
do 3, it's going to be close-ended, it's going to go to open-ended, all those steps that you don't really think of when you're necessarily thinking of the overarching goal. It would be
Right.
really cool. So I'm glad that that's definitely something you're looking into. So that's really exciting. I look forward to
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, Nicole, I saw that you have your hand up.
Yes, hello. I'm in South Korea, so it's early morning here. And
Welcome.
yes, I know Gustavo personally for like all my life almost. He's amazing. I'm so impressed by him as a teacher and a person. And I'm also in education. I was in Department of Education in New York City, and now I'm global. I was wondering, Gustavo, like, I know the kindness of your heart, and I know that you're putting in so much effort and money. Like, are you crazy to do this? I know it's for the children and for the teachers, but if at some point down the road there was a way for somebody to, people who cared about donation and had a lot of money and wanted to contribute towards your app, or just somehow help you to improve the app even more, or advertise it more, or somehow, or even possibly create profit for you so that you can create more materials or something. Is that a possibility for you? Like you would consider?
Of course. Yeah, I want to make $1 zillion. Come on, who doesn't?
It's the dream, right? So I was thinking the same thing of like, you know, there's all the Kickstarters for like a video game or a, you know, a board game. And it's interesting that education a lot of times gets left out of that field.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, I know one of the main ones that have been amazing is the Donors Choose site. And I wonder how that would be, you know, if it was for an app, if people saw that, you know, this is not just and going to affect one classroom, it's going global. That might be something to consider. I've gotten 2 projects completely funded. I know of some others that are in the room. My colleague Deb just got a project funded, and I think like the only parameters is that it helps kids. So it might be something to think about.
I know some people have mentioned to me about as far as funding and so forth. And I do need to get
your costs.
Yes, yeah, I do need to get that straightened out so that way, you know, I can spend cover my costs at a minimum. So
no, that's a really, really great point. I know overall it has been just difficult in these education spaces to figure out, all right, I'm really passionate about this, but then how can I also spend the time and make the time worth it? Because that's where it really becomes, it's a passion project.
And you think about it too, you know, like venture capitalist funding. If you go in that route, they're going to want you to do things that you may not want to do. And also, they're going to want their return in their investment, like ASAP. And that's not something that, you know, I really want to do. I want this to be, it might not be, you know, it's not going to be perfect in a year. It might be perfect in 5 years. I want this to be, you know, a really good thing for all of us. So, but I mean, you know, I will, right now I'm holding my own. I'm able to keep everything afloat. And I will look into ventures to see where I can get. I was even looking into the Department of Education grants and so forth, see if I can find something within there that I was going to actually contact my congresswoman to see if there was anything out there to, you know, I can apply for. Because I think this is a beneficial thing. It's, you know, I don't want to just go out and sell out. I don't want that. That's not what I'm here for.
Absolutely. I connect with you on that in a very real way. So everybody, I just want to make sure that you have our contact information. I see some of you are returning to your evenings, especially since you're from all over the world. So if you want to contact Gustavo directly, it's spedgoals2@gmail.com. My direct email is educatormuller@gmail.com, and anything that you send my way that I feel should go to him, I will of course forward that. I do just want to make a few more announcements. So with the idea of collaboration and leaning on one another, it's a really confusing space out there. There's Facebook groups and there's things like this through Eventbrite, and there's pages versus groups and all kinds of things. And sometimes it feels like too much. And I like the idea of keeping it simple. So I do want to invite you to the ECEL Facebook group with the idea that perhaps you could put a goal or have a question about a goal. And this would be a way that we could continue to communicate. Now, I know there's a lot of sped Facebook groups out there. But, you know, I just feel like if it's people that we've talked to, that we have had a face-to-face connection with, I think it's just a little bit more of a powerful space. So feel free to join that. I'm still figuring out how I'm using all of these tech tools to make sure that individuals feel connected and feel supported through all of the changes that continue to come our way. And yeah, I also invite you to, if you haven't yet, to subscribe. So if I copy this link in here, I'm trying to put out weekly newsletters to let you know what's up, including the video cast from the week before, along with any of the resources that were provided. And just to keep everybody in the loop, once again, this is not my only thing that I do. This is very much a passion project. In addition to teaching full-time at the high school, I took on tutoring since so many kids just need that extra support. And I think parents need a lot of extra support right now too. And it's very hard to put a price on the services you provide. So that's something too that we can chat about, you know, because as a special educator, you come to the table with a lot of experience and things that people haven't seen before. So, you know, I think it's important that we rely on one another to help make a difference.
And you touched on something as far as parents. I do want to get a little button for parents, because I've found so many parents have no idea what's happening when an IEP meeting, you know, is in process. They, you know, I know I'm teaching pre-K right now, so therefore their child is being like introduced into the special education world. And yeah, a lot of times they don't understand even what an IEP is, or what, you know, what a goal, or, you know, strength or weaknesses. They don't understand the whole process. So that's another thing that I do want to put out there. So that way a mom or a dad or whoever can click on it and just see the steps of an IEP and what they should be expecting while they're going into the meeting. Because I know so many parents I find just show up and they're like, oh, I have to do X, Y, and Z, or you're asking me questions and I'm not sure what they are. And also the legal breathing document. I mean, that is very, very important. I mean, you know, their rights, if they're not getting, the child's not getting the services, they have a right to, you know, do X, Y, and Z. So, so I do plan on adding another button like that just to help parents out and understand the IEP process.
Yeah, and essentially the IEP is supposed to be a team approach, right? It's yes. Everybody, like in an ideal world, we would all sit around a table and we would talk to the parent yes. and the teacher, and everybody would come up with a goal together. And it's just, and it'd be great if that were the case, right? And it just comes down to time and people of responsibility and the fact that it is a legal document. I've been in IEPs that were literally just the teachers because the parents could not attend. I have been in meetings with close to 20 adults with lawyers and advocates and everything else. And so I think that in some ways, this online environment has forced us to get the parents more involved, right? And also, the parent has the ability to be more involved because they don't have to take a day off of work to come to a meeting. They can click on a Zoom link. And I think in some ways, we are opening the doors of accessibility that we've had the doors pre-pandemic. We just didn't understand how we could use it to our advantage. Because ideally, right, that is the way it's supposed to look. We're all supposed to sit around together and know what's best and for the kid, and everybody knows exactly what's in the document. But then it also, you know, sometimes prints out 30 pages and nobody has time for that, right? And I thank you so much for bringing that up, Martha. Do you want to speak to that a little bit more?
Well, you know, we're seeing many parents from all different parts of the world coming into our systems. And so we need to help them understand they're from different cultures, their understanding of what special ed is, what labels are. And so that is just something I think that we're getting better at and we're becoming more and more aware of. But I do thank you, Gustavo, for being so aware of the needs of parents. And you know, I have a son with disabilities also. And I really always appreciate when parents are in the forefront. And of course, we do get parents that are a little difficult to work with, but you know, they're advocates of their child, right? And so I think this is great. I do. Kudos to you.
Well, thank you very much. And parents are the number one advocates. I mean, we teachers are right behind them, but the parents are the number one. I mean, I tell my parents that all the time. I say, you are the number one advocate. I can only say X, Y, and Z, but when you say X, Y, and Z, that carries a lot more water with the district than when I say it. So
thank you, though. You're doing a great job.
Well, thank you.
And Martha, remind us where you're coming to us from.
Well, I'm from Arizona, and I recently retired from Arizona State University. I was a faculty member in the college, Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College, and now I'm just sort of now an advocate and trying to help people to understand special education. Whoever has my ear, I will help as long as I can. I have a 46-year-old son with disabilities, so have been from all the way through the gamut. So it's fun. So I just keep on learning, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, look at this. This is great. I can let people know about. In fact, I just emailed a colleague of mine at ASU to let her know about your app.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
So I will say, if you got to us today through Eventbrite, all of your emails have been compiled. So any new update from Gustavo, you will know what is going on with the SPED Goals app. As well as, you know, hopefully joining more of the ECEL world. So first of all, thank you all for being here tonight. You know, it's our whole lives are in front of screens, and You know, I feel like Southwest, you have lots of choices, but thank you for choosing us. So I did want to mention another thing as I'm talking about all these tech things. So Learning Revolution is how I kind of got started here. I had the idea that I felt so alone in some of the concerns I had coming from the pandemic. It's the end of May and nobody's talking about IEPs and how we're going to accommodate. And I was just a nervous wreck. And by reaching out to a few individuals, I found my way to Learning Revolution. And I wanted to let you know that this is just one show amongst many. So once again, feel free to subscribe. I feel so and silly and saying that, but the information here is fantastic. One of our one of the other folks that is a part of us is Howard Blumenthal, who has been doing a series on reinventing school. He is actually the creator of Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, which, if you remember, was his whole idea of getting education on screens that was free and accessible. And it's funny because I feel like some of the conversation is going back to that, how to make education more accessible and how to make sure that all students are a part of that. So I encourage you to take a look at that. There's some amazing talks from and different people, you know, and we're trying to find a way to kind of curate things so that, you know, there's almost too much. And I think we all kind of come today with the fact that there's all of like all these different ones. I feel like I should have made a poll. We have the IEP Direct, we have Easy IEP, Genesis, there's Power School, there's EISI. And so sometimes with all the tech and everything that's there, we think that more is better. And I think if you take anything away from tonight, it's that sometimes just if we can do more collectively, we can make a larger difference. Does anybody else have any last questions? We will continue to stay on post recording. So Gustavo, thank you so much. I'm so happy that you responded to my Facebook message because I was just like, what is this? I need to know more. So I appreciate you and taking time, and I wish you the best. And I can't wait until we can collaborate more and you are a zillionaire and we can all applaud you on this amazing endeavor. So
and I just want to say thank you to everyone. I know, you know, everyone's time is very valuable, and it's really nice to see you guys joining. And I just want to say thank you for that. That means a lot to me. It means that that all the work that I put in it, it's really worth it, and it's helping people out, that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. So signing off, and hope to see you next week, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be talking about co-teaching and the magic that all of that is. So I look forward to that, and have a wonderful night.
Thank you, guys.